The moon landing hoax. The moon landing hoax theory suggests that the Apollo moon landings were faked by NASA and the US government. Proponents argue that the United States, in a bid to win the space race against the Soviet Union, staged the entire event on Earth. They point to various anomalies in the photos and videos, such as the American flag appearing to wave in a vacuum and the absence of stars in the lunar sky. Critics of this theory argue that these anomalies can be explained by the physics of the moon's environment and the limitations of 1960s film technology. For instance, the flag appears to wave due to the inertia caused when it was planted, and the lack of stars is due to the camera settings used to capture the bright lunar surface. Despite the extensive evidence provided by moon rocks, telemetry data, and the testimony of astronauts, the moon landing hoax theory persists. It taps into a broader mistrust of government and skepticism about the capabilities of 1960s technology. Understanding this theory requires examining both the psychological factors that drive conspiracy thinking and the scientific explanations that debunk the claims. 9/11 Inside Job. The 9/11 inside job theory posits that the September 11 attacks were orchestrated or allowed to happen by elements within the US government. Advocates of this theory believe the attacks were used as a pretext for wars in the Middle East and the expansion of surveillance and security measures. Supporters cite various pieces of purported evidence, such as the collapse of World Trade Center Building 7, which was not hit by a plane, and alleged inconsistencies in the official reports. They also argue that the speed and precision of the attack suggest inside knowledge and assistance. However, extensive investigations, including the 9/11 Commission report, have found no evidence supporting these claims. The collapse of Building 7, for example, has been attributed to fires ignited by debris from the nearby towers. The theory persists largely due to the emotional impact of the event and the complexity of the official explanations, which can leave room for doubt and speculation.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more topics you love.
Chemtrails. The chemtrails theory claims that the trails left by aircraft, known as contrails, are actually chemical or biological agents deliberately sprayed for undisclosed purposes. Proponents believe these substances are used for weather modification, population control, or other nefarious activities. Supporters point to the persistence and spread of these trails as evidence, arguing that they differ from normal contrails, which typically dissipate quickly. They also cite unusual health patterns and environmental changes as further proof of chemical spraying. Scientific explanations, however, clarify that contrails form when water vapor from jet exhaust condenses and freezes in the cold upper atmosphere. The persistence and spread of contrails depend on atmospheric conditions, such as humidity and temperature. Despite these explanations, the chemtrails theory continues to appeal to those who distrust government and corporate motives. The New World Order. The New World Order theory posits that a secretive, powerful group is working towards establishing a global authoritarian government. This group is believed to control major world events, economies, and political systems to achieve their goal. Believers in this theory point to various global organizations, such as the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund, as tools of this shadowy group. They argue that these organizations undermine national sovereignty and push for a centralized global authority. Critics argue that the theory oversimplifies complex geopolitical and economic interactions. They point out that international organizations often have diverse and sometimes conflicting interests. The New World Order theory persists because it provides a simple explanation for global complexities and appeals to fears of losing national identity and autonomy. Illuminati. The Illuminati theory suggests that a secret society called the Illuminati is manipulating world events to establish a new world order. This theory often overlaps with the New World Order theory and involves a group of elites who supposedly control governments, corporations, and media. Proponents believe the Illuminati use symbols and rituals to communicate their power and plans. They point to hidden symbols in corporate logos, music videos, and architecture as evidence of the group's influence. Famous individuals and political leaders are often claimed to be members of the Illuminati. Historians and researchers, however, argue that the original Bavarian Illuminati, founded in 1776, was a small group that disbanded within a few years. The modern concept of the Illuminati has been fueled by fictional works and the human tendency to find patterns and meaning in unrelated events. Despite this, the theory remains popular, partly because it offers a compelling narrative about power and control. JFK Assassination. The JFK assassination theory posits that President John F. Kennedy's assassination in 1963 was the result of a conspiracy involving multiple parties, including the CIA, the Mafia, and possibly other governmental or international entities. Proponents argue that Lee Harvey Oswald did not act alone or was framed as a patsy. Supporters of this theory point to perceived inconsistencies in the official reports and the rapid killing of Oswald by Jack Ruby, which they believe was meant to silence him. They also highlight the presence of multiple witnesses who reported hearing shots from different directions and other suspicious activities around Dealey Plaza. Extensive investigations, including the Warren Commission and the House Select Committee on Assassinations, have concluded that Oswald acted alone. However, the complexity of the case, the suddenness of Kennedy's death, and the myriad of conflicting witness reports have left room for alternative theories to flourish. The JFK assassination conspiracy persists because it taps into deep-seated mistrust of government and a desire to find meaning in a tragic event. Area 51 and aliens. The Area 51 and aliens theory revolves around the belief that the U.S. government is concealing evidence of extraterrestrial life and technology at Area 51, a highly classified military base in Nevada. This theory gained traction following the 1947 Roswell Incident, where an alleged UFO crash led to speculation about government cover-ups. Proponents argue that Area 51 is the site where the government studies recovered alien spacecraft and possibly engages in reverse engineering of alien technology. They cite the base's extreme secrecy and the government's inconsistent statements about its activities as evidence of a cover-up. While the U.S. government has acknowledged the existence of Area 51, it maintains that the base is used for testing advanced aircraft and weapons systems. The secrecy is attributed to national security concerns rather than extraterrestrial events. The allure of this theory lies in its blend of mystery, science fiction, and the public's fascination with the possibility of extraterrestrial life. Big Pharma. The Big Pharma conspiracy theory suggests that pharmaceutical companies, often in collusion with governments and medical institutions, prioritize profits over public health. Proponents believe these companies suppress cures, exaggerate the prevalence of diseases, and promote unnecessary medications to increase their profits. Supporters point to cases where pharmaceutical companies have been fined for unethical practices, such as hiding negative trial results or aggressively marketing drugs with dangerous side effects. They argue that these incidents indicate a broader pattern of deception and manipulation. While there have been documented cases of misconduct, critics of the Big Pharma conspiracy theory argue that these do not represent the entire industry. They emphasize the rigorous regulatory frameworks in place to ensure drug safety and efficacy. Skepticism towards Big Pharma is often fueled by high drug prices, perceived overmedication, and a general distrust of large corporations. Flat Earth. The Flat Earth theory posits that the Earth is not a globe but a flat plane, and that this fact is being hidden by governments and scientific organizations. Proponents believe that evidence supporting a spherical Earth is fabricated and that observable phenomena, such as the horizon appearing flat, support their claims. Supporters argue that flights, satellite images, and space missions are part of a vast conspiracy to deceive the public. They often cite experiments and interpretations of visual observations that they believe are inconsistent with a spherical Earth. However, overwhelming scientific evidence, including photos from space, the way gravity works, and the observable behavior of planetary bodies, supports the conclusion that Earth is a globe. The Flat Earth theory persists due to a mix of skepticism towards established science, the appeal of alternative explanations, and the influence of social media. Vaccination Conspiracies. Vaccination conspiracies involve the belief that vaccines are harmful and that their dangers are being concealed by governments, pharmaceutical companies, and health organizations. Proponents argue that vaccines can cause serious health issues, including autism, and that these risks are downplayed or hidden. Supporters often cite anecdotal evidence and discredited studies, such as the infamous 1998 paper by Andrew Wakefield that falsely linked the MMR vaccine to autism. They may also point to instances of government and corporate malfeasance as evidence of a broader cover-up. Public health experts and numerous studies have shown that vaccines are safe and effective in preventing serious diseases. The resurgence of preventable diseases in areas with low vaccination rates highlights the importance of vaccination. Despite this, vaccination conspiracies continue to spread, fueled by misinformation and a distrust of medical authorities. The Deep State. The Deep State theory posits that a hidden government, consisting of unelected officials and bureaucrats, secretly controls policy and decision-making, regardless of the elected government. Proponents believe this shadow government operates independently of democratic processes and acts to maintain its own power and influence. Supporters point to perceived inconsistencies in government actions, whistleblower accounts, and the influence of long-standing bureaucratic institutions as evidence of the deep state's existence. They argue that this hidden government undermines democratic accountability and transparency. Critics argue that the deep state theory oversimplifies the complexity of government operations and the natural friction between different branches and agencies. They emphasize that bureaucratic inertia and institutional resistance can occur without a coordinated conspiracy. The theory persists because it offers a straightforward explanation for the often opaque and slow-moving nature of government. COVID-19 origin and response. The COVID-19 origin and response theories encompass a range of beliefs about the origins of the COVID-19 virus and the global response to the pandemic. Some theories suggest that the virus was deliberately created as a bioweapon, either escaping from or intentionally released by a laboratory. Others claim the virus's threat has been exaggerated or that the pandemic is a hoax designed to control populations. Supporters of these theories often cite circumstantial evidence, such as the proximity of the Wuhan Institute of Virology to the initial outbreak and inconsistencies in early reporting and official statements. They argue that the rapid development of vaccines and the imposition of lockdowns are part of a broader plan to manipulate and control the public. Scientific consensus indicates that the virus most likely originated from a natural animal-to-human transmission, similar to previous outbreaks like SARS. Investigations by international health organizations continue to seek clarity on the virus's origins. The varied responses to the pandemic can be attributed to the unprecedented nature of COVID-19 and the need for swift public health measures. Conspiracy theories about COVID-19 persist due to the high levels of uncertainty, fear, and the significant impact on daily life. Pizzagate. The Pizzagate conspiracy theory emerged during the 2016 U.S. presidential election, claiming that a child trafficking ring involving high-profile politicians was being run out of Comet Ping Pong, a pizza restaurant in Washington, D.C. This theory was propagated through social media, particularly by users on platforms like Reddit and 4chan. Supporters of Pizzagate pointed to coded language in leaked emails from John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman, and alleged connections between various public figures. They claimed that certain phrases and symbols in the emails were references to child trafficking and abuse. Despite being thoroughly debunked by law enforcement and journalists, the theory led to real-world consequences, including a man firing a gun inside the restaurant in an attempt to rescue the non-existent victims. Pizzagate exemplifies how misinformation can spread rapidly online and incite dangerous actions. It persists due to the emotional and sensational nature of the claims, which exploit genuine concerns about child safety and political corruption. HAARP. The HAARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, conspiracy theory claims that this scientific research project, located in Alaska, is a secret weapon used for weather control, mind manipulation, or other nefarious purposes. HAARP was designed to study the ionosphere and improve radio communication and surveillance technologies. Proponents argue that HAARP's capabilities include triggering natural disasters like earthquakes, hurricanes, and floods, or even manipulating human behavior. They point to the facility's high-powered radio transmitters and its isolation as evidence of secretive activities. Scientists and officials have repeatedly stated that HAARP's capabilities are limited to legitimate scientific research and cannot influence weather or human minds. The program's activities are thoroughly documented and monitored by both civilian and military scientists. The HAARP conspiracy theory persists because it taps into fears of technological control and exploitation by powerful entities. Roswell Incident. The Roswell Incident refers to the 1947 event in Roswell, New Mexico, where an unidentified object crashed on a ranch. Initially reported as a flying disc, the U.S. military later stated it was a weather balloon. This incident sparked widespread speculation about a cover-up involving extraterrestrial technology and life. Proponents of the Roswell conspiracy theory believe that the crashed object was an alien spacecraft and that the military recovered and concealed alien bodies and technology. They point to the initial reports, witness accounts, and subsequent secrecy as evidence of a government cover-up. Decades of investigations, including reports by the U.S. Air Force, have concluded that the object was part of Project Mogul, a top-secret program using high-altitude balloons to detect Soviet nuclear tests. Despite this, the Roswell incident remains one of the most enduring UFO-related conspiracy theories. Its persistence is fueled by a combination of genuine curiosity about extraterrestrial life, historical secrecy during the Cold War, and popular culture's fascination with UFOs. These conspiracy theories capture the imagination and concern of many people around the world. Understanding them involves exploring not just the factual claims but also the psychological, social, and cultural factors that contribute to their persistence and appeal.